All right, Brad Loos joins us now, former Mizzou assistant. Now, I don't know, Brad. I always forget your exact title. I just know you work at Mizzou now. I don't know exactly what it is. I know it's with TSF, and you raise money, and so the game for Ryan. I mean, the first question is: this is like the sixth year it's happened. Have you guys gotten it written into the SEC bylaws that Missouri's not allowed to lose this game? Like, do other teams just understand we aren't allowed to win on this day?
Yeah, Greg Sankey's all in on this, and they understand
Okay.
this is just the way it is, and then they better get over it because it's happening. It's funny you say that. So last year, it was Arkansas, and Matt Zimmerman walked into the building and saw that it was Rally for Ryan game, and immediately saw me and was like, "Are you kidding me again?" So he'll really get a kick out of it this year when he walks in and sees it's the Rally for Ryan game again this year.
Yeah, I think what Missouri should do is just wait and kind of look at, okay, which is the most important game we've got here? Which one do we have to win? And that's what we're going to call it, or just call every game. But the first question, well, obviously the most important question for everybody, and I've seen Ryan on a couple, video things and all that. But how's she doing? How's your family doing?
She is doing really good. She's just your typical 11-year-old, 10-year-old, about to turn 11-year-old little girl.
Mhm.
She goes to dance once a week. She's got basketball practice. It's really amazing to look and see where she's at right now and think about how far she's come over the last 5 years. Because in a million years, I never would have thought then that she'd be doing what she is now. And so very, very blessed and very lucky.
So obviously it's going to be a little different this year. I mean, even in the past, even when maybe attendance was down throughout the season, there were always 10, 12,000 people for this game, and that can't happen this year. So as obviously the big part of this is raising money for the research you guys do and everything. So how does that part of it go this year with so many fewer people actually in the stands? What can people do?
Well, obviously we've tried to get an even bigger push than we normally have in terms of just getting the word out there that this game is happening and really trying to push people online and donate online. But you know what? It is what it is. And just like everything else, the last 12 months, we've got to make do with what we got. And we're just blessed that we're able to do this. And so whether we raise $80,000 again or we raise $1,000, you know what? Every dollar counts, and it's one more dollar than we had before.
Mm-hmm. How have all your guys' efforts been going? I mean, I know this is a year-round thing, and kind of what have you guys been doing? And I know you update people every year, kind of, hey, this is how the fundraising has gone, and some of the things it's gone to. So how's that part of things gone outside of game day tomorrow?
It's gone well. We are in search of another clinical trial right now as we speak. We gave a couple smaller donations this past year. We didn't really have that one big $100,000 donation like we typically do. I just didn't find anything really that we felt we really wanted to invest in that much. And that to be honest with you, that's the hardest part of all of this is you want to be good stewards of this money and you want to invest it in something that you really believe in. And we really rely on other organizations' boards. We don't have a research board. So we reach out to Band of Parents, we reach out to Braden's Hope and these other organizations that have established boards with really great oncologists. And, we lean on them and we just nothing really came to light last year. So we're searching and, but we're not just going to give it away to give it away. We want to make sure it's something good that we believe in that is going to make something great happen.
Uh, Given obviously, Ryan's medical past, I assume you guys have had to be a little bit more careful than a lot of people have in the last 12 months. Will you guys be at the game tomorrow and still address the crowd and all that? Or are you pretty careful about where she goes or?
Well, no. So, yeah, she is treated just like any other kid. Her doctors feel really good about her immune system, but as fate would have it, and of course, in the age of COVID, I tested positive early this week. So, no, I will not be there. I am currently locked away in my basement. And then Ryan and the rest of our family is contact traced, so they can't go either. But the show must go on. And we're going to do a video board deal at halftime. And, the message will still be there. Fortunately for everyone else, they don't have to sit there and listen to me talk in person. They can maybe press fast forward on the message. I don't know, but The show must go on, and we're still going to do it, and hopefully still do a little bit of good.
Well, obviously, hopefully not the most serious thing you guys have dealt with in the last few years. Hope you're feeling fine and all that. And
Yeah, I'm doing fantastic.
yeah, I want to ask you. Look, I know you're a basketball coach is always a basketball coach. What's been your thoughts, kind of watching this team and this program get back to a top 10 for the first time in 9 years, and the way Konzo's team has played this year?
Just overall big picture, I feel like this team's really kind of taken on coach's personality.
Mm.
It's that tough blue collar, show up with your hard hat every day kind of team. And that's who coach was as a player and who he is as a coach. And so it's been fun to see these guys grow. And, this has been a 3-year process for this team. It just didn't happen overnight, obviously. And I think having all these upperclassmen has really paid off. With that being said, I think it's a little surprising, just the other night, Wednesday night's game, and then the Mississippi State game, the Kentucky game, the second half issues that we've had, obviously, is something you don't expect a team with a bunch of upperclassmen to have. But you know what? They're going to work this out. They're a great group of guys. And there's no doubt in my mind that they'll figure this out and get hot at the right time and be able to make a push in March.
I'm curious, when you guys did this for the first time back in 2016, did you, and I think I know the answer to this, but did you have any thought in your head that, hey, 6 years later, we're still doing this and it would all become what it's become?
No, never in a million years. I think people have heard me say this before, but I thought if we could raise $10,000, I thought that would be absolutely amazing. We'd make one donation, we'd be done with this, and everybody would feel good. And the way people have embraced it has been beyond our wildest imagination. And, I do think winning the game definitely helps. I think marketing likes the feel of that. So, you know what? It's been amazing, and we are incredibly grateful for everybody that's gotten involved.
I'm not sure at 6, Rhyan probably had a real grasp for what this whole thing was, but I saw she got to talk to, I think was it Shelly Smith or was it Holly Rowe she was talking
Holly
to
Rowe.
the other day? Holly Rowe. Yeah.
Yeah.
Does she have a little more kind of grasp and appreciation for everything that's gone on around this, and how this school and this town has kind of embraced her situation?
Yeah, without a doubt. I just think being older and starting to understand exactly what cancer is and what exactly she went through. At the time, she had no concept of what cancer was or what being sick meant, or, it was just day to day for her. And now she's a little bit older, a little bit wiser, I guess. That's a thing for an 11-year-old. But yeah, I think she understands. And I also think she understands that a lot of her friends that she went through this with didn't make it out. And she understands that's what we're trying to do. We're trying to help those kids. So every kid can be like her and go on to live a normal life. And, as a parent, it's a proud moment when you see your kids start to understand these things and grasp these concepts, because these are pretty big picture concepts that she's dealing with.
Yeah. I'm curious. Obviously, I mean, that's always kind of a part of your guys' stories, and not that you ever, move past it. But now that you are 5 years down the road and she is, like you said, a normal kid, which maybe you never envisioned, how often do you kind of think back to that time? Or is it like, hey, we've got a normal childhood, and that's now your life more?
Yeah. My wife was actually talking about this morning, and, when you're going through this and they're in New York and we're away from our kids and our other kids and whatever, and you dream of the day that you can be busy with taking your kids to practice. You can be busy with getting on to them about homework and all the day-to-day minutia that, sometimes drives you crazy. And we longed for that. And now that we're back in that moment, and we're getting frustrated, every now and then you do have to take a step back and say, hey, hold on a second. Now we dreamed of this day,
Mm-hmm.
and here we are. And so the one neat thing about this game every year is it does force me to go back and reflect on where we are as a family. And it is pretty special in that regard. But the further away we get from all that nonsense that she dealt with, obviously, we just get caught up in the day-to-day life. But it is nice to every now and then step back and reflect.
Yeah. And I guess just kind of, You talked about, and I know players tend to wear shirts with people's names for this game. I'm not sure if that'll happen tomorrow, but it's happened the last few years. Just uh, how often do you think about just all the people you've met through this? I mean, you talked about some of them that didn't make it, but I'm sure a lot of have, and kind of similar to Ryan's situation. I mean, just how much has your circle of people you guys know and interact with changed in the last 6 years?
Yeah, that's a great point. It really has. This has opened up a whole new world to us. We're very involved with the American Cancer Society now. We're very involved. There's a group out of St. Louis called the National Children's Cancer Society that we deal with quite a bit as well. And then I think back to, in New York, we basically had a separate life in New York. We had our New York friends and our New York family and all the people that we lived with at the Ronald McDonald House. And so, yeah, it's really expanded our view of the world, so to speak, and very blessed to have this whole other life that has evolved because of this.
Last thing for you, Brad. There's kind of a parallel here to I was talking to somebody a couple weeks ago, asked a question about Norm Stewart and how he had been thought of in coaching circles when he was at Missouri. And I said, it's kind of weird to me as a person who grew up watching Norm as Missouri's basketball coach, but I think now we have generations of people who know more know Norm for being the guy that started Coaches versus Cancer than actually
Yeah.
being a basketball coach. I'm sure 10, 15 years ago, your goal was, hey, I want people to know me for what I do in coaching this game. And now probably this will be more your legacy. Just the parallel there. And I'm curious I guess you probably would view it as, hey, it's not a legacy you would choose, but it's a much more meaningful one than winning basketball games.
Yeah, no, without a doubt, I have way more people come up to me and say, "Hey, you're Ryan's dad," than "Hey, you used to coach basketball in Mizzou." And I've been probably a little more successful as Ryan's dad than I was as a coach at Mizzou, so I'll take it. I'm not complaining. But yeah, no, you know what? I will be Ryan's dad every day of the week and twice on Sunday if they'll let me. That's definitely an honor. And you know what? I don't know how much. By no means have what we have done, me and my wife and our family have done, even remotely compares to what Coach Stewart has done through Coaches versus Cancer. I mean, he is he's changed millions of lives with what he's done, and I hope one day we can just change a handful of lives, and if we do that, I'll consider us a huge success. But yeah, I'll definitely take that.
Have you ever, throughout this process, talked with Norm about that? I mean, I know obviously Kim knew him well, and I'm sure you got to know him during your time here.
Yeah. So funny you say that. I'm actually the chair of the Coaches versus Cancer Kansas City board.
Oh, okay.
That was started obviously through Coaches versus Cancer, but Norm was been heavily involved with this group. His daughter-in-law actually was the board chair for quite a while, and so I've worked with him very closely on some of that stuff, and just talking to Coach in general about life, not just cancer, but life and basketball. And as you know, every time you talk to Coach, you don't know where that conversation is going to go most of the time, but it's always going to be entertaining. I can guarantee you that.
Yeah. Well, I mean, this is on our pregame show. Tip-off's coming up. We've already marked down the win for Missouri. They'll move on, play whoever they play next week. So, yeah, in a world where we can go outside and where you can go outside, maybe we'll see you again sometime.
I like that. That sounds like a good idea. How about let's put some back in the seats and have a regular game? How's that sound?
Right. Yeah, I'm sure people at Missouri aren't at all bummed out that the year Alabama, LSU, and Georgia play here in football, in the year they have a top 10 basketball team, nobody can go.
I know when I'm looking at our ticket sales, I'm sure bummed out about it.
Right. Right. For sure. Well, Brad, appreciate it, man. Feel better, and we'll talk to you guys down the road.
Gabe, thanks again for doing this. I really appreciate all you guys do helping us spread the word.
Sure thing.